There's new terrain on Mission 14. Metal. It's this gray land, and you can build omnis on it and rock burner it, but you can't mire it. That actually makes this fort here more of a benefit to me than to the enemy. The only thing that can harm an omni on it is Emergent or a doppel flying over. It also means most of the particle is trapped except for this wormhole and these chutes. I'm going to deploy here, it's a nicely defendable position, and convert these emitters immediately. I'm going to push up to this node as quickly as possible because while it's less defendable, I need the power and it's a better launching point for attacks. I'm going to make a lot of use of omnis on this mission. Stick a cannon on them and they're a turret I don't have to use a ship slot for, and these islands are just the right size for omni turrets. They can lock down these chutes. Taking out these repeater cannons is also made much easier due to the metal and the omnis. I could do it using a hammer and a lathe, or I could just construct an omni beside the cannon. The cannons can shoot an omni flying in, but not one that's being constructed on the ground. Once I take this node, I'll move to secure the left, then up the right side. Finally, I'll storm the middle over the wall in whatever spot seems weakest. These last emitters are powerful, but I've got a trick for how to handle them that I'll share when we get there. I'm spending a lot of amp gems on research to start with, energy boosts for mine and land, as well as the energy range increase. Omni cannons and omni reactors, because that makes my omnis turrets, and the omni reactors means they suck less power to produce mire, which is really useful early on. Defensive struck will help me protect the mines, but it will also give them a lathe, which will be pretty handy in a few situations. Friendly emergent, because it's a good defense and I can always take that point out later. I might make use of the friendly emitters in this mission, but their placement makes me feel they're more trouble than they're worth. If so, I'll swap some gems into emitter control and rock burner. Going to immediately drop some omnis so they can take over these emitters, and that'll also get me more power. I built these a little further away in case emergent shows up and just in case mire spread really fast, but now I can move them in and lathe that target. Start building some more ships immediately. I've got a fair amount of scrap right now, I might as well use it. Gonna move that omni up a little bit so that they can provide turret fire. The doppels follow a patrol path on this mission. They're going to fly in and then fly back and forth across my blue plasma, which makes it extremely easy to avoid them, and moderately easier to destroy them. I am, as usual, building all my ships in the back. As soon as he is done snagging that ship, now that he's done snagging that ship, I'm going to fall back. That's the C-Class, and I'm going to have a few things to say about the C-Class. So the C-Class is a beast. It's got a lot of guns, a lot of engines, lots of power, and a shield. No lathe, unfortunately, but then it would be ridiculous. On defense, it can operate solo to lock down an area, even moving out of energy range to a good choke point, and it makes a great gunship for assaults. The C-Class has a pretty distinctive shape. Bridge here, engines here, and it's an explorer vessel. These could be coincidence, or it could be inspired by a certain popular science fiction series. Only Virgil knows.
Sometimes I wish I could boldly go where no man's gone before.
Now, the Enterprise C only made a single doomed appearance in an alternate reality episode of TNG, so I'm not sure what Virgil is trying to say there. The C-Class also doesn't have shields per se. According to Ogun, it has a polarized hull, but even that little piece of technobabble has precedent in Trek lore. I'm following the command vessel back until the doppels clear out. Once they do, I'm going to rush them in there and snag that energy mine. That energy mine is close enough to the emitter behind it that it can actually use its lathe to take the emitter out. Time to move up. Like I said, that doppel's following a patrol path, so I'm not worried about him turning around and ramming me or anything. I will have to deal with him eventually, though. Speaking of eventually, I should keep spending money. At this point, I've got the energy range to deploy those omnis, but I've got some emergent in there that's going to be a problem. It'll just fly in and destroy my omnis as they're being built. So I'm going to try and take out the emergent with the Marauder. Hopefully I'm out of range of that repeater. should have moved that corporate HQ up a little earlier. There he goes, he's lathing away. Now the big question, can I can. I should be spending money again. If you can hear my snoring cat in the background, he's pretty loud. Things are starting to get moderately bad over here on the side. So let's use a few of those amp gems. Make life a little bit easier. Now what I should have done, my last couple attempts on this, I always kept a very good eye on when those dischargers were going to fire, and this time I did not. These days, I always try to keep a really close eye on when the stunners are going to fire so I can get dischargers out. I did not pay as good attention this time though, and did not have any dischargers out. However, the opening to this mission went a lot better than I expected, so it wasn't quite as necessary to have them. So at this point, I'm going to leave the Marauder here to cover, and I'm going to send everything else over to the left to see if I can start taking out that energy mine over there. To do that, though, I'm going to need a tanker. So time to keep spending money. Fortunately, I got this discharger out just in time. I might be able to hit that capacitor or emitter or whatever it is with just the command ship, but I'm going to wait until I can take out that Dobble first. It'll be over shortly. And at this point, he shouldn't be a problem, so let's send the HQ in. I'm going to need 2 tankers, really, to make this work, because that one's just not going to have the range to get me anything. Once I'm done over here, I'll move everything around, and I'll take the command HQ up there and convert that emitter. Or also bring the lathes, one of the two. Second supply vessel is done, so I can start making my push. Need a second discharger now that I'm spreading out a bit. Oh, bad timing. It's okay. That's what the lathes are for. So I'm going to follow everybody back, and I'm going to use them to make that assault. The Marauder will be my one defense over here. That emitter can handle itself. Tons of money. Keep producing. I really need that big nose to be doing his job. That thing's not taking a lot of damage. There we go. Alright, time to push up and take out this energy node. I want to watch the range on that repeater cannon and make sure I'm not getting too close to it. Looks like he's... I wasn't sure if that lathe was actually shooting the emitter or not. He seemed to be lathing something else entirely. hopefully he'll be able to take it down before this becomes too much of a problem. Turn everybody's particle beams back on. Again, that mistake of starting an assault without the particle beams on meant that the hammer took a lot more damage than it would otherwise. That's fine. I expected him to be going down with how much damage he was taking, and lathes are cheap. At this point, I can deploy another Omni and just fly it in towards that stunner, and take it off the map entirely. Once I take out that Doppel, everything on this side should be handled, which means I can start worrying about the other side. Those repeater cannons should be enough to take out any Doppels that come flying over, although I can probably just deal with that Doppel spawner. Given a moment of luck, and a little bit of an amp gem on that lathe. Let's do it. I just have to watch that big C-class Doppel and see if he comes back. Whoops, double click. Everything will be fine. While we're waiting on that, let's move up and take this upper section. Where's my hammer? Why have I suddenly forgotten where the hammer is? There it is. Way over there. Okay. A little bit further away than I would have liked. It's going to waste a little bit of time. I think I got it. We're going to move up the right side and take out this energy node. We're going to have to do some power leapfrog to pull it off. Done. Which means I don't need to worry about this side anymore. There goes that stunner. Alright, power range is set up, so let's get the ships in formation. I don't really need this friendly emergent anymore. I mean, it's useful, but all it's really doing right now... Oh, let's lob it into the middle and see what happens. Alright, the first leg is set up. Set up the second leg. Leaving that right side there fairly uncovered, because most of the stuff that goes in is just going to ram the hammer instead. That lathe should be fairly well covered. Lob the C-class over here. Let him handle what's over there, and you know what? While he's handling what's over there, let's get him a lathe buddy. Let's see if we can take out that capacitor. Or we could just send the command ship in. If we're very careful. So you can see the C-class is a beast. That emitter is toast. Let's go toast the other emitter. Ooh, can I? I was thinking maybe I could just deploy an Omni onto that island and solve all my problems. But I don't think I'm going to have quite the range to pull it off. Emitter destroyed, energy mine destroyed. Go destroy the other emitter. Now we're going to push over to the left here. We've got this energy mine and this emitter to destroy. I'm going to use the hammer to draw fire both from the emitter and from the repeater cannon. So it's going to be taking a lot of damage. I'm going to have to keep an eye on that. But the only thing that can currently supply that repeater cannon is the mine I'm about to take out. So hopefully he won't be a problem for long. Especially since with this formation, the hammer's not actually going to draw fire from it. Yeah, you shouldn't still be there. Now we're going to fall the lathe back. Redirect the hammer a little bit so that he takes it on the chin. And then move the lathe back in because I want to take that emitter so that I can start deploying omnis. The emitter who is not firing for some reason. Oh, because the hammer's in the way. Again. There we go. There's my energy range. Here are my omnis. Oh, hammer, how I love you. Alright, time to start thinking about hitting the center. Probably just going to go right over this wall here. Going over the wall on the right would probably be a little better. There's just more room to deploy. But I'm lazy. How about this? I'll send the C-Class over there. He's like a warship unto himself. There's my other lathe. There he is. As you can see, I'm not feeling enormously threatened by this map. Oh, just a second too late on the start. I'm not feeling enormously threatened by this map, so I'm getting a little lazy in how I'm deploying my ships, which is a great way to die. To make sure we've got energy range, I'm going to have to send the supply ships over the wall with everybody else. Okay, it's not my best formation. I've got a couple of ships that really shouldn't be up front. Let's redo that. As soon as that doppel is down, I'm redirecting the hammer over to the left. He's down enough. Just gonna make sure everybody's particle cannons are on. And bring in a little extra lathe firepower. And build my other couple ships. So at this point, I said I had a great plan for how to take out these emitters up top. At least the upper and lower emitters, their particle doesn't track on your ships. All it does is follow that circle, which means if I can slide a lathe right next to the emitter, I'm not going to worry about it shooting the lathe. I can just park there and destroy it. So, let's set up a block. Let's go take out that emitter. I don't really need the friendly emergent anymore, as I said. So let's get a little speed increase. Now, the big question is, and a thing I don't remember the answer to, does that center emitter track on ships? And it looks like it's trying. Otherwise, I could get really stupid and just fly the lathe in behind it. But it does look like it's trying, so we're not going to risk that. I don't really need to leave the hammer there anymore. All it's doing is taking hits to the armor. So let's go set him up to take out the other side. That's one. As I leave this energy node here. Not my best plan with the supply ship. I was more in a hurry than I was being smart. Some supply ships in. Supply ships are going to stay outside the wall this time. Everybody else get over here and shoot up some particle. I'm going to use the hammer to wipe out this struck so that I can fly the lathe in without worrying about it. Just backing over the struck. That should be good enough. This one's going to be a little harder to destroy because the particle coming from the emitter is curving off to that side, which is the side I want to send the lathe up. Oh well. That should have made enough of a hole. I didn't bring any warships into cover because I was getting greedy. I wanted to save a few seconds. Not the worst thing that could happen, but it may have cost me a little bit of time, and it definitely cost me a ship. Costing me a little bit. I got dumb. I got aggressive. And that is why we hammer fort, people. That is why we hammer fort. No strafe. I blame that on the strafe command not taking, which happens sometimes. So that got stupid. I got a little pushy, I got a little aggressive because I wanted to save a little bit of time. I figured if I hit both these points at the exact same time, I could save myself 20-30 seconds, and I can do this mission just that much faster. Which turned out to cause a lot of damage to my own ship. It means I'm going to have to wait a little bit of extra time to take out this emitter because now I have to wait for my lathes to rebuild. It also tells me that I should stick with my normally conservative playstyle and just hitting one emitter at a time, because speed is good, but not having to wait for your entire fleet to rebuild is better. All the amp gems in the way. And the emitter's destroyed. Let's send the lathes in. So the plan worked out very well. Using those Omnis extremely aggressively to take out those repeater cannons was extremely beneficial as well. It meant I didn't have to spend a lot of time hammer lathing them. It also meant I could take out those stunners fairly early on. The blue particle would have been useful, but to me wasn't really worth the time it would have taken to figure out the right angle to burn through those islands with the rock burner, and then how to direct it all through that wormhole or where I was going next. The emitters on this map just weren't threatening enough to warrant it. Things went pretty well until I stopped being conservative and started being overly aggressive, and I do that occasionally when playing these maps because I want to save a little bit of time. But, as I said, it just tells me that I need to stick with conservative, I need to stick with hitting one emitter at a time, and I need to stop getting in a hurry and making stupid mistakes.